mid-game stage, and that's where Visage... Visage kind of traditionally was a great late-gaming level 1 support, but that got changed when the hero received some huge nerfs. Now it's more about that 10 to 20 minute mark where level 7 you have Familiars and max Soul Assumption and just do a ton of damage, and that complements the Slark really nicely. So I think it's fighting around when Slark is strong, when Tide's level 6, and Visage Soul Assumptions will just wreck heroes. But
yeah, no real Slark solution here. The best hero probably is still Doom, even though you need the Ags to really shut him down. But that will be banned out. So look at Speed Gaming. They've got a natural Hex carrier in the Invoker. Omni Slash pretty useless against Slark. Their main tool is really going to be the Scar Silence if they get it off super quickly. Yep. So we'll see if they're able to do that.
Yeah.
Reserve time.
And going back a lot to some of these bans, like they're very targeted towards the Speed Gaming side. The few games of theirs I've kind of seen in the past, they ran quite a lot of Omni Knight. It was definitely one of their kind of niche 4-position support heroes. The Wisp, another hero they ran a lot of. So Xiaowei definitely doing a bit of research. And Speed Gaming to me is one of those kind of big upcoming teams in China. They're not a team that receive much attention. None of the players are well known at all outside of maybe the Chinese scene with a select few. But they've been getting upsets. They took a game off Newbie in the ECL group stage, I believe it was, and yeah, they've been winning games here and there and doing really well.
Lycan. Hero that was not touched at all in the latest patch, directly anyway.
Wow, support something, or is it a jungle Lycan? Could be a support
jug. We saw that a lot from LAN. Clock, it's a little awkward. Like, who are you? There's no real setup for the cogs, which is... We used to see LGDN do that way back in the day with the Shadow Demon, Dazzle, Clockwork Tri-Lane. It wasn't a support clock, but you disrupt, you cog, then you you heal with the Shadow Priest and you get a quick kill. But yeah, it feels probably like, I guess it's a jug support, or maybe just a jungle Lycan, like you said, and
Morphling.
A jug off taking a lane.
Morphling gonna be your mid hero. That's
a lot of pressure on this, either the Skywrath to shut him down or the Invoker to get an early Hex. It looks like. As somebody's a popular man, getting calls here in the middle of the night.
That's right. That's my alarm so we didn't sleep through this game. It was meant to start 5 minutes from now, so I'm like, oh, I'll just set an alarm to make sure in case
take a quick nap.
Yeah, in case I take a nap and fall asleep, we don't miss any Dota. But we're here, we're casting.
We would never dare miss quality Dota. Certainly not when you guys are all chilling. Thank you for joining us, guys. Hope you enjoyed the first series. It was one-sided, but it was action-packed for sure. And if you want to have something just to chill and watch in your free time, you can definitely go check out the VODs. They're up at youtube.com/BeyondTheSummit.tv. But here in our next match, we're getting ready for our second best of 3. The players on the side of the big gods getting set up, and away we go. The game has officially gotten underway. Speed Gaming looking to contest and challenge them, as we will introduce the lineups. You've got YF, for me at least, gods, this is my first time casting Speed Gaming in a very long time, maybe like 4 months. Because I remember when we were arranging the Summit 2 qualifiers, we did not invite them originally, and then their manager personally contacted me on QQ, was pleading their case, so we rearranged the format so they could compete, because they were the main other Tier 2, Tier 3 Chinese team. Basically the only team that had been left out. They didn't end up qualifying. I didn't really watch them after that, but with that said, we'll see how they do here. You've got Piao playing the Invoker, YFTX on the Juggernaut. Melody Lovers will be handling your support Skywrath. That puts Chao Yui onto the Invoker.
Here we go.
Oh, sorry, the Lycan. Just waiting to see if I missed the first blood.
Blade Fury, you level 1. I don't know if you want a level 1 fight. You got an Invoker. He does not level 1 fight.
And then, of course, our Clockwork by Iwi. Now, that said, on the Dire side, the more well-known names here for sure, even though they've been fairly inactive as of late. Mikasa going to start things off. That coach, as he leaps forward onto Chao Yui, he'll just harass him back a bit. He's playing the Slark. RTK, the Tidehunter. Looks like Xiaowei will be in the 1 position role. Something I don't think I've ever seen him play in like 2.5 or 3 years of casting the guy, but I'm sure he'll show us some this old dog will look to show us some new tricks. Ice on your Rubik, and Lanham will be playing the Vessel.
RTK showing some new tricks. The 12 Tango Tidehunter.
In a tri-lane to boot. Like, they're tri-laning, he's like, I still need 12 tangos.
Let's do it.
This is the Skywrath counter. Gets a bunch of tangos. Then he runs out of mana. He's only got 1 clarity, so let's see. I think they're sending out Sentry Wards here.
I don't know about putting Slark in the 1v1 lane. He still does okay, but he's going to get his mana burned all up by the cogs. If Clockwork plays this lane well, and Iwi's played a lot of the Clockwork I think he kind of breaks even on CS and also at the same time prevents Slack from free farming. Like they neither will free farm and they'll just like kind of trade hits as they're actually doing right now. And this actually benefits the Clockwork a lot because he's not at all farm dependent.
Yeah, next to the creep wave, can't really rely on the battery assault, but just happy to trade blows. He looks like he'll be building an early bottle here, saving quite a bit of gold.
If Slack comes up,
Mikasa
you
more
like,
regen.
You throw the cogs, you burn his mana. Even if Mikasa has the 8 Tango salve, like he's still gonna not have much fun here.
Well, you've got chat up in arms now.
For what?
12 tangos? What the hell, man?
12 Tango Tidehunter.
Report Tidehunter,
Ds.
please. Ban ROTK.
Oh man.
Washed up. Retire.
Yeah, what does he know? He doesn't know how to play Dota.
Yeah, this guy did not finish second at TI. He's a noob. I wonder if I'm very curious to see actually, because we've seen all the quote unquote retired players, Lanham, ROTK, Burning, Xiao 8, like all of the big legends of Chinese Dota. Some of them, like Xiao 8 did not say he was retiring. He said he would take a break from the game. But some of them, like Lanham, said, "I'm retiring straight up. I'm done with Dota." At least as a player, maybe I'll cast or whatever. He's even done some interviews since then. I'm very curious to see if they get the bug again, if the itch comes back and they actually come back to full-time competition as the road to TI5 comes near, or if this is just a kind of a pleasant diversion. Easy first blood bottom lane though. Lift into a gush. The minus armor's there and the follow-up kill will come through.
Pause is not fun. I mean, I feel like that may not happen without the pause. You kind of just lose your focus a bit, but end of the day, it's still his fault. He got completely caught out of position. They lifted up. Level 1 Invoker, you've got no spells whatsoever. And safe lane Invoker against a
very
tri-lane
awkward tri-lane.
Yeah, what is this? Invoker Jug, you get the Cold Snap Blade Fury synergy going on here, but this is still a support Jug. I mean, once Invoker gets Cold Snap, you can try look to make some plays happen, but I'm not a fan of this tri-lane still.
Yeah, they did manage to deward their pull. They dropped a Sentry Ward here, but at the same time, they're going in again onto Piao, and once again, where's the backup? They have no counter initiation. They will now go for a Blade Fury turn onto RTK. They get a single kill there, 1 for 1, but one of the most, if not the most, level-dependent heroes in the game, just getting wrecked early on. Not a part of these kills, just dying early, still level 1. His Juggernaut's almost a level ahead of him already.
He's making the Walk of Shame as well. He doesn't have a
can't
TP.
even use your TP.
Yep, I think it's still on cooldown, so he's just going to walk it out.
He's a sad boy right now.
Don't worry, he can shake it off.
No double entendre intended. I'm not sure if that was intentional.
Getting trial-eyed, just shake it off, LD.
Just shake it off. Well, when in doubt, dual roam early with your Visage Rubik. If you're doing this, you know the game's going well for your supports. They move towards mid. At the same time, the wolves head back towards base, but the real Wolfman is hiding out near the tower, and the trees have already been cleared out. This is going to be problematic for Xiao Yui. If they get off this initial lift, he's done for. Surrounded, getting brought low. The double, not the double damage. It's just the hard right clicks of Xiao 8. He's got like these blue flippers, which made it look like he did DD.
Now Xiao 8 gets his bottle out, will find a rune instantly, and be happy sailing in this mid lane.
Yeah, the Frost Shard Pauldrons made it look like he did DD rune. I haven't seen those before.
So, bottom lane, tri lane being, I don't know about 1. I mean, yeah, 2 kills in Invoke, I'd say it's 1. Tide isn't actually farming, even though they're getting the kills. The Slark, though, is still not having the best time, and that's where the supports, I think you say, job done. You've got Tide, they help us some kills, some XP, some farm at bottom lane. You've got Morphling and Edge of the Lycan. Now you can just go top, do your pulls, and look to help Slark secure Slark free farm. Because at the end of the day, Slark needs a lot of farm this game.
Bottom lane, ROTK, this is the plan. Cold Snap into Blade Fury, constant procs, they get a kill. Maybe they were expecting the solo offlane Tide, and perhaps that's what's throwing them for a loop. Because it is a pretty good killing combo. Cold Snap, Blade Fury to keep on proccing it every time it's possible with the multiple damage instances over a relatively narrow window of time, but they didn't quite get it early still. Score 2-3. Definitely not out of control. In fact, they're leading in net worth. They're even in experience. At the same time, Lanham will look to stack some Ancients here, and they're going to kind of chill. Let ROTK catch up and farm later, and in the meantime, looks like we'll be rotating the Lycan, perhaps even into the woods. They're going to give the mid lane to Jug, and Lycan will jungle, it looks like. Yeah. But he's warded. Sad times.
One of the cool things about running like the Lycan in the safe lane or mid is that you can give that 4 position hero a lane very early on. You just need level 2 wolves, really. Like the level 4 Lycan, he's going to hit level 5 in a second, and he can jungle and get close to the same farm he'd get in lane. So A neat little thing you can do. And Jug, he's got... oh no, it's Invoker with phase boost. Jug, he's actually got decent farm as well.
Invis were popped by Iwi. There's no solution for this. They'll just walk away.
This clock's doing well, and definitely one of the players who I think can do a good job for controlling the tempo and helping Speed Gaming get back into this one.
And continues to drop the cogs, getting close to level 6, and should he manage to get that, could go for a solo kill on the Visage. Rubik's tough because he'll just throw you out of the cogs if you hook onto him, but
yeah.
If nothing else, he could apply a lot of pressure to these supports. Maybe with a +1. Could go for some kills. The main thing he'll want then is the Mystic Flare. They won't have a Sunstrike follow-up. It is a Quaswax Invoker, so...
yeah, they're going in again, bottom lane for another kill. Tornado EMP does actually hit RTK.
RTK really struggling in this offlane. They try lane to try and get him off to a hot start, but he's not having one. Gives up his second kill. Actually, third. But his second just off on his own kill in this offlane. Ancients, just a double stack, so no huge comeback opportunity for him just yet.
Game. I think like someone like a Skywrath would be really nice to rotate him top when Clockwork hits level 6, because you can't really gank Morphling. Like often you hit level 6 as Clockwork, it's like let's gank their carry mid, but Morphling has an escape. The offlane's a Tide who's not really doing too well, doesn't really need ganking when he's already 1 and 3. So the best kills is the supports and even the Slack, but to do so you need someone like a Skywrath to come along.
And good news, he still has 6 tangos.
Yeah. He's not running out anytime soon. Wait, gets the rune, and here comes the Blade Fury and Juggernaut. Gets no level 6 still for the Clockwork, but
yeah,
gets another kill.
I thought he might get closer to it there, but he's still a bit short. Could have gone for a secondary kill perhaps otherwise, but they'll just get the Rubik kill. They'll retreat out, and RTK, after journeying towards mid, heads back to the offlane. Still nobody else stacking the Ancients. He's not quite at the point where he farms them yet, but we'll be there fairly soon. So you'd like to see somebody in charge of that. They have a single stack here on the big camp. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, no other stacks.
Speed Gaming just seem to have a much clearer plan. Their ganks are more polished. I mean, there was a few kind of mishaps with the Invokers positioning bottom lane, but apart from that, like their actual movement around the map has been far better than what we're seeing out of Big God here. Bottom lane, they're going for another kill? No, just some casual harass. I mean, RTK is just getting mana burned. He's not having much fun, and...
no, he's like, I came out of retirement for this.
Yes.
To level my mana burned and just get constantly pressured and harassed by this Invoker. I should go back to my Caribbean cruise.
Speaking of... oh, Jug can get a Blade Fury for his level 60. This is actually really nice. Get a fast level 6 on your Jug. That's handy to have. They don't have mana for an Omni Slash. He may have to go back to base to kill though.
Yeah, he definitely will. Let's see what he's going to build with this Sage's Mask here. Could just be a casual. Could be the
Omni Slash maybe?
I doubt it's a Soul Ring. I mean, it could be a Soul Ring. It helps fuel your healing ward usage.
Soul Ring Jug is actually pretty nice, but it could even... the Medallion Omni Slash this early on could do a lot of damage.
That's true. And Medallion got a pretty nice buff in the most recent patch.
There we go. Medallion. -7 armor with an Omni Slash. That's a kill on most anyone apart from, like... well, Morphling, if you get him before he starts Morphling Strength. Could be a kill on him.
And the other thing is you can now throw the Medallion on allied units and just make them super tanky.
Yeah.
Like, you just keep on spamming it on creeps from a safe distance, and your creeps just don't die. It takes, like, 1-2 extra tower shots easily, and it can let you push a lot longer.
Well, Jug does need 30 XP for level 6, but I think you could smoke, just try leech XP from the trees and get the kill off of that, but maybe you get the level 6 before you smoke, so you can go somewhere like mid lane even.
Yeah, and this could be a good time for that kind of movement, depending on the direction they take. They could even walk into the pit, honestly, and there's actually no vision here for the Dire side. They don't have Ravage yet. They don't have Familiars. They're all farming the woods. There is no Radiant vision of this. They don't know, per se, but...
they just pinged it.
They might be thinking about it.
They don't have Vlads yet. They're very close to the Vlads, like 200
With the healing ward, they can definitely do this.
Yeah. Even without the Vlads, I think they can, but the Vlads is like the safer and much faster way of doing it.
Instead, though, they make their way towards mid. They want to engage on the Shao 8 here. Medallion deployed, but no Skywrath silence just yet. He's going to walk out.
Be careful. That Jug will kill him fast before you can even wave for him if it's like a 2 Omni Slash kill.
Pretty big commitment here top lane as Mikasa leaps forward. No leap yet, but moves forward towards Iwi. Cancels that hookshot initiation. The Omni Slash comes through that one. Not very effective. Now the hookshot catching out the Slug, finishing him off, and then back the other direction where Ice Ice barely TPs out to safety. That was a little awkward, to say the least, with the Juggernaut Omni, but they still end up coming out on top.
Yeah.
Getting the Slark kill.
Decent
That's a
rotation.
big kill.
No. I think, yeah, you got your Jug level 6, it's probably not really that valuable to go straight Roshan. You want to use that Omni Slash, get it on cooldown, and then kind of in between ganks, once you get some momentum, that's when you want to ideally go for Roshan, when your opponent's already on the back foot. So, we'll see them even pressure some towers first.
They have Ravage. ROTK now picks it up. At the same time, Mikasa TP's in top lane, looking to hold the line here. That will free up the Lycan a lot. The more that they're applying pressure on this top lane, the less he has to worry about mid.
Yep.
They could try to rotate the Tide, but for now, he just wants to catch up. ROTK looking towards his Blink Dagger. Speed Gaming. Kind of settling down here after a very hot start. Key thing will be trying to find their way into Roche.
Yeah, Piao had just a bit of a few mishaps there, but I mean, LAN jitters perhaps this is Speed Gaming's first really big event as far as this current team in addition. So definitely a lot of pressure, not so much pressure on them, but definitely like a first big experience for some of these players.
Dan it, Dan it, Dan it, Dan it. Got him. LAN caught out now. Tornado to start off. Nicely placed by Piao. Follow-up cold snaps there. Then they're going to engage on Xiao with the medallion.
Force the waveform.
Force out the waveform.
It's good. Helps me make this T1 tower push that much more viable.
They would love to take this tower. You take this now, Roshan becomes a whole lot simpler to claim, but RTK is here. The Tidehunter ready to defend. They won't engage any further. Mikasa going to split push top lane, draw them back a bit, and it seems like Speed Gaming, they'll have to be content with that single kill and just retreat out.
Yeah, I think going back to farming now, your Invoker's caught back up after his 2 early deaths, working on the Orchid. And your core heroes are doing just fine. Your support Jug's level 7. As a support Jug, he has gone for the Max Blade Fury, which you're not going to get the items to do that much right click, so probably the better way to go. And Tide now working on Ancient, so RTK will get him like halfway to his Blink Dagger off this maybe.
He's caught up pretty nicely. I mean, it's kind of the nature of Tidehunter. You have this terrible start in the off lane, and by the way, he still has tangos.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty funny. 12 tangos, but he's gonna have a blink at a pretty reasonable time, assuming he goes for it. Could go mech, but they don't really have another great initiator, so he'd probably lean towards the blink. Nor are they a particularly heavy team fight lineup.
They wanna fight around 15 minutes. I think the blink.
Hello, Xiao, and goodbye. I think. No, he's already got the Ghost Scepter. Oh, what an early pickup on that one. Normally you don't see it quite this soon. It makes the difference. He would have died without that for sure.
Xiao Dota 2 Mastermind coming up with. Well, I mean,
it's been a while since I've seen it. Like it used to. There was a period where Morphlanes, like TI2 era, would always rush E-Blade.
Yeah.
And then there was like the Linken's era, which has been for the most part for the past. Sometimes they go BKB. Sylar would do that at TI2 quite a bit, but the Linken's era has been in vogue for some time. And to see a Ghost Scepter this early, Xiao just surprising Speed Gaming with that, catching him off guard.
Silence EMP, that's painful though.
The Ghost Scepter again though, he just walks away. They can't cold snap him anymore.
Full bottle, 1 charges. He's actually going to be full HP and mana after the bottle, so.
They are kind of roaming through here with Xiao Yue. They're already looking to 5-man.
Yeah, this is a good 5-man. You got Vlads, you got Tornado EMP, even just like a level 8 Invoker. This is pretty potent. And getting a T1 mid tower, and then if they can get the T1 bottom tower, that then turns into like a pretty free Roshan for Speed Gaming with Medallion plus Lycan.
And with the Morphling kind of occupied mid, there's no one else to really split push. Slark very slowly can chip away, but he's got treads and a killer. He's not at that point in the game where a Slark can just mow through a tower.
Yeah.
So they take it, I'd say, basically for free.
Speed Gaming, I think the lineup kind of transitions pretty well in the mid game. They've got good farm on all their core heroes right now. They're looking like they're in a pretty solid position. Once they get that, if they can get Aegis and then just start kind of 5-manning down the tier 2 towers after that, I think they want to get at least like 1 more tier 1 like the bottom tower before they go for Roche. Then they're going to put a lot of pressure onto the big gods.
Not looking so godly right now though, I must say. And I mean, we've got a GoDz here, so he should be able to, you know, correctly evaluate what is their level of godliness right now.
Experts in all things.
I would say like a 4 out of 10 maybe.
Yeah, I'd go with the 4. With BTS know their 4s. So.
BTS, beyond the zone. We know our 4s. Well, anyway, he doesn't know how to get out of this situation. He's pushed all around. He will try to retreat. Actually fights towards RTK, but he ends up going out of the Ravage. Also clips the Lycan, who will end up falling at the same time on the back end of the fight. Xiao 8 looking to retreat out now. It's a 2-for-3 exchange favoring your Dire side, but Xiao 8, this time he actually does have a double damager. He's gonna slowly inch forward. He waves back the other way. He thought he could catch out your Scarith Mage. Not gonna happen. At the same time, the Visage gets run down by the Big Bad Wolf. And now surrounding Xiaowei. He'll be Cold Snap. He'll go Scepter and look to retreat. But the Tornado, it finds him. He waves up. He's out of mana now. He will end up living. Still a 4 for 2. A big, heavy beatdown here, favoring, again, your Radiant squad.
Yeah.
1,000 gold swing their way. And 1,300 experience.
They're playing well. I feel like this is even before their core items even come online. Like, the Orchid isn't there yet for your Invoker, although something's coming out, and it's just the second Oblivion's up. But no Orchid yet. Jug hasn't really got too much. I mean, the early Medallion's nice. Clockwork hasn't got his Blade Mail. Lycan's got 2k gold, so they're winning these fights just on sheer hero composition. Once you start throwing in their kind of mid-game items, things get even worse for the Dire side.
Yeah, the Dire side really struggling now, but they'll try to rotate through bottom. Ice is level 6. No spells currently stolen. Let's see, can he steal an Omni Slash? Not sure if Juggernaut used anything. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
he's gonna get it.
Value.
Yeah, generally you just Blade Fear Healing Ward afterwards, but perhaps in the heat of battle he just forgot, and it's not like a black hole or something where you're like, I have to be disciplined against Rubik. You know,
I think he
that
Omni Slash then died, and then since respawning he just hasn't had to use a spell, so he never thought about it.
I guess from now on he should be looking just to like drop a Healing Ward and Fountain as he respawns. Just do something, man.
Rolling.
Do something. At the same time, though, split push for Speed Gaming. They're going to take down the tier 1 top. Orchid complete. And this can be the Slark counter. You Ghost Walk on top of him, Orchid,
Slark,
any sort of follow-up, he's just dead. Yeah, Morphling as well. That's a good point.
I guess he can Ghost Scepter. You don't have that much magic burst damage. The Skywrath, I guess, is the kind of one source of that, but I don't think that's enough burst damage. Not for like a 1200 HP more.
Under a bit of pressure here at the same time, though. Tower will fall mid lane. A hasted Rubik on the move. The Wolves pursuing out Mikasa, preventing his regen. He's got to be frustrated by this. The poke and prodded him. The hook shot from Ewe just way off the mark. Well, that is not going to accomplish too much now. The War Dog will deliver something, and Slark will retreat out in the end. He gets his Blink Dagger at long last.
Lycan actually, like, never really thought about that, but surprisingly good against Slark because of the Wolves just being able to patrol, track him, and prevent that.
It's almost like you have to get a gem, but you really don't want to be buying one this early. Especially not against an Invoker that goes an Orchid. Omni Slash will come through. We'll splash back to the birds. Not enough to finish off Mikasa, but SRTK blinks in. He gets silenced. He can't get off a spell. Quick reactions there. I believe that was from Piao with the Orchid pickup. They get the quick kill on the Tidehunter. They look for a bit more. However, Familiars and Medallion working together. Unfortunately, it's his Medallion, and it's working against him. He'll end up going down. They look for a bit more here. Mikasa should tick down. He's low. He's low. He's dead. The Wolf takes one more chomp out of him. They look for Xiaowei, too, who continues his retreat. At the same time, your Rubik also on the way out. It looks like Speed Gaming will try to gain control of this tier 1 bottom. It's a heavy fight for it.
Yeah.
They're not going to fully claim it, but they bring it low. They do get the Slark kill again.
But they've got this Orchid, and I think they're thinking like this low Orchid clone, they can try re-engage and at least force Big Gods away, but Tide with a Blink Ravage actually goes mid, so I think they see Tide mid and may actually look to go back in on this bottom lane now.
That's the one thing for the Radiant side. Longest cooldown on their team, I believe, is Omni Slash, which is not that long.
Yeah.
They can pretty much fight all game. And if the Ravage is down, that is a great go time opportunity.
A lot of good heroes for just those constant fights. The Tornado MP, like that 30-second cooldown, the Blade Fury, you've got the Healing Ward to sustain you, so you take damage and you back off, heal up, and you're back in.
Nice. Well, I don't know if it's ideal, but nice Blade Fury dodge at least. We'll force out the Tornado. Then the Blink Ravage comes through. The silence was a split second late from your Scarith Mage. Still a good effort there, as Piao will get caught out, brought down in the end. Probably your Juggernaut next. He's used his Medallion, so his own armor a bit reduced. He gets chunked down, as they will claim another. They force out a buyback here on your Invoker, who looks to re-engage. Can he get anything accomplished? He'll silence land him. He chases forward. He wants to get the Ghost Walk slower, maybe just a Cold Snap onto somebody else. But who do you go for here? They end up getting the one kill onto the Visage, but that's not really worth the buyback alone. They need a tower. They need something a bit greater. They'll throw out the long-range Tornado. This one also connects. The Wolves, the Minions, pretty nice slow. They finish him off. Nice micro there from your Lycan player. Chow Yui, impressing again.
Yeah. I don't.
Another rocket? No, not enough.
Invoker's buyback wasn't too expensive, and he already bought his Orchid, so from that point of view... Oh, Lycan, what?
Did he kill the book?
Yeah, it looks like he killed the book. There's a dead book by him. That's a derpy moment.
I didn't catch it on camera.
Yeah,
I guess he must have killed the book.
I mean, I didn't see it, but I saw a death animation for the Necrobook.
He had already thrown Tornado and has not invoked Stun Strikes. Yeah, it must have been the book.
Well, the Invoker...
Or it could be the Soulburn, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know if he used Orchid.
the Invoker buyback kind of cost him like a little bit of gold, and I don't think he made the gold back. And then, end of the day, he doesn't need money right now. Orchid Phase Boot's already up. He's doing just fine, so that buyback, just to guarantee that fight goes well for them after his death, was probably a reasonable decision from Piao.
Not been RTK's best game, gotta say. 2 and 6.
Yeah.
He was set up for success early. He had 12 tangos. I mean, you'd think he's in a good sustainable position bottom, but he's struggled since the early game. And I mean, even when ROTK was at his finest, he just, you know, sometimes he'd have a great game, sometimes he'd have an off game, and this looks like it may be an off one. Ice caught out. He'll end up falling. Nice little pick off there. It's not the biggest deal getting this Rubik, but if they can transition into a push, then it will be a much more important thing.
5-man for days. Necro 3 already for Lycan. Necro 3.
By the way, this hero did not get nerfed at all in this patch. At least not directly.
Necro good spot. They'll find a replicate and pretty much guarantee a tier 2 tower, and I think they could even poke onto the tier 3s. Why not? You've got Clockwork with the DD rune. Look at this guy. More importantly, you've got a Lycan though.
And they're going to just look to break the base. Double damage run up. The Vlad's online. The Necro 3, as you mentioned, also ready. They'll familiar stomp to slow this down.
Cal finds RTK by the secret shop. No
They
blink
can
rabbit
silence
for you.
him. EMP, not invoked actually. He's just going to run him down with right clicks though. Man, that Orchid Invoker doing some heavy lifting. It's Xiao8 who tries to force them back. He'll push in the bottom lane. He will convince them to retreat, but they're just waiting for this initiation. RTK does have Ravage. Can he get a good one? Yes, he can. That's on 4. Then the follow comes through. Your E-Blade has been picked up in the middle of the fight. Xiao8 looking for the shotgun kill. He gets it on the Clockwork. Now looks for more. He waves through, kills off the Aegis, and now looks for round 2. The Omni Slash coming through. Not enough. Juggernaut may fall as well. Barely surviving. The Healy Ward in the trees. It's the familiars that have to snipe it. They will. Still a 3-for-1 RTK. Making up for lost time here as he needs to back up his teammate now if he can. Of course, from the grave, that's going to be tough, but the team is there. They get the 4th kill. And the Lycan, unable to really do much after the Necro 3 is used and the ult's down, so he'll just retreat out.
Big Ravages, and I think Speed Gaming saw a really big opportunity when they found ROTK trying to smoke flank them, but they didn't kill him. They could have just zoned him out with the Invoker and kept pushing the mid lane. Like, the Invoker just has to keep track of where he is so they don't get caught by the Blink Ravage, and I don't think they get wrecked, but they could at least get a tier 3 tower and get out, but yeah, Speed Gaming tried to take the fight. They didn't deal with the Ravage and then get torn to shreds.
Just a really nice time to call for a fight as well. You have the Ravage online, you smoke, you kind of know where they are because they were just in the area, saw them retreating up this hill, and they picked up the E-Blade right before that fight started. So Xiao8 gets an instant assassination kill, and it just puts Speed Gaming in an uncomfortable position where they want to just run away as quickly as possible. Yeah, good timing.
Speed Gaming go. I think they want to try and at least get a few more towers with this Necro 3, even if it's just the tier 2s. Because
these wolves, this is, I don't know if it's the Slark counter, but it's certainly the biggest nuisance I've seen for a Slark in some time. He's even going to ult him. He doesn't have mana for the TP. Now they hook on through. The Blade Now's there. Mikasa, my friend. That is not a good way to reign in 2015. Oh, yeah.
That was a good hook too, because Slack was going to have a blink in a second. Just from using the Shadow Dance, he could blink out afterwards, so definitely needed that hook in. Xiao8's out of mana now thanks to the Necrobook, so this tier 2 top tower probably...
They did force out the Necro 3 early, though. He's not really going to have it for the push. But it's still definitely a worthy kill.
Ravage in 20 seconds, but not maybe Speed Gaming, one of those kind of cooldowns, unless you write it down exactly, you may not know quite when it's coming back.
They're going to try for the push. Familiars, though, flipping Xiao Yui on the way out.
Yeah, I think Speed Gaming may just back off. That was their kind of one shot with the Necrobooks and that previous creep wave.
Yeah, if they just reset, wait for the Necro cooldown, though, obviously, definitely worth it. They can farm at least a couple of the enemy jungle camps. They're not really sacrificing anything, unless somehow a big team fight can be found for the big gods. But barring that, it's definitely a good kill.
Big gods just seem to be like, okay, let's get a little bit of catch-up farm here and there. They're only behind by 2,000 net worth because of all the 5
It definitely feels more like they're kind of like playing like an in-house or a pub in terms of like the level of, the sense of urgency, the level of polish in their movements. Yeah. Certainly fantastic players, but it's it doesn't feel like they're all on their A game.
And I think the big thing for me is the support duo. It hasn't felt like a support duo. Lamb has been farming and he's 8-3 and 4. He's had a big game, but there hasn't been any real clear plan beyond like that offensive trail lane of theirs, where they killed the Invoker twice, and since then it's just been like, okay, Lamb, you farm because you're a 4th position. Rubik, you just do Rubik things.
You do you,
Rubik. Try to steal some spells here and there.
Well, Speed Gaming with the clear plan. They're going to push top with 4. Actually make it 5 as your Clockwork handled by AoE will also rotate in, and they look to potentially breach high ground. This time, they've got the Healing Ward at the ready. The Necro 3 summoned more recently, and they will force their way in. Come hell or high water, but here comes the hell and the high water. Try and stall them out at least a little bit.
500 damage, not bad. Respectable, and it's just from a Necro 3 cooldown, you don't really commit too much beyond that. Don't give up too much gold either.
Yeah, still they're not losing racks yet, and considering they're up against this super early Necro 3, I think he had it, what, like 18 minutes? 19, 20 minutes maybe?
Something pretty crazy.
Yeah, something in that ballpark. They haven't lost the tier 3 early in racks yet, so I suppose in that sense, if you're the Dire side, you're not too phased. Only down 3,000 gold, ahead in experience.
You get worried when Speed Gaming get their double BKBs and possibly the next Roshan. So if they can get Aegis and have double BKB on Invoker Lycan, defending high ground gets a lot trickier at that point.
Speaking of BKBs, Slark gonna grab one as well.
Okay.
The EMP Tornado and the Orchid in particular have really been a nuisance for him, so...
Yes.
Good BKB game for both teams, I would say.
Still for Slark, like if he goes in, there's a lot of physical damage. Omni Slash, Lycan, you've got some zoning spells like the Clockwork Cogs as well to worry about. Invoker's pretty mobile, you got Ghostwalk, so I feel like it's the Slark, the BKB may keep him alive, but it's not going to be like as high impact as the BKBs for Speed Gaming, where they can just teamfight and take racks because they don't get ravaged.
Really feels like Slark has to be just like somehow they've got to get the Tide in there first. You know, get the Blink Ravage off, and then Slark can come in and just quickly kill off a support or two. But if he's kind of having to sit back the whole time while Speed Gaming are jumping his teammates, then he BKBs, and then they just, like you said, auto-attack him down. So, see if he finds those openings. They're going to siege out this bottom lane a bit. They leave the Invoker in front for now. BKB for Piao coming soon. Doesn't have it yet, though. The triple familiars are out. They're just going to say, surprise, Melody Lovers. Man, just a quick love tap, but that was a painful one. He took a hunk out of his rear end there.
Wow, Scarlet Mage. Good luck with that.
That was only like 2 volleys as well.
Yeah, they didn't even use up all their damage. They still got like plus 42, plus 56 damage. They're ready to keep fighting.
That's okay. There's only 3 familiars, and there is a large Speed Gaming onslaught headed your way if you're the Dire squad. This big god team. They're still giving up a lot of territory.
Yeah, and Speed Gaming making the smart decision. Back off. You're not ready to go high ground yet. Roshan has just respawned now. I don't think big gods will get in there. I mean, they do know that Invoker TP top, but Invoker, he's pretty fast. He can get back here, and they just can't kill Roshan fast enough. Not to mention, just 3 or 4 heroes from Speed Gaming can slow you down, contest it. You've got Rocket Flare to scout, Hookshot to initiate. This is just not a Roshan. I can see big gods taking themselves. They may look to contest Speed Gaming, though.
They are trying for something. They're all milling around near the pit, aside from one. That's Xiao 8 bottom, but he's got a replicate near the team. It's going to casually trail after Mikasa as he will head towards the top lane. They're starting to find room for this Morphling to move around. He stays near the Lycan and net worth. They haven't lost racks yet. Sure, they're not taking Roche, but they're also not giving it up. They still hold, for now, their Ravage. And they do have the triple familiars, so if there's any sort of misplay here from Speed, maybe they blow the Necro, give up a kill or two, we could see the Dire squad walk into the pit at that point, but yeah, right now it's not so easy.
I think the familiars need to be split pushing a bit more. Try force Speed Gaming to have to defend their lanes so they can't, if lanes are pushed out, it's easy for them to go Roshan and then go for their 5-man, but having all 3 familiars by the Roshan pit seems a bit unnecessary. If they're going to contest it, it's one thing, but I don't even think that's the plan. They scout out the fact Roche is going down, but are they really actually going in on this?
And they're painting it out. Your Invoker player, Chao Yui, definitely
ROTK blink in the trees. ROTK, and yeah.
Hook shots there, finds Ice Ice. He'll throw back the Clockwork, but he didn't actually commit the cogs yet, so he just continues chasing forward, running onto Ice, and he will end up getting the kill with the Force Staff, finishes him off. Roshan dropping low, not dead just yet. RRTK finally has made his way out of those same trees that you mentioned. Now a Blade Fury near the pit from the backside comes showing. It's a triple Ravage from RRTK, brings down 2, months to make it 3, but now his team out of mana, getting surrounded by the big bad wolf. Up to the high ground, leaves Mikasa the Omni Slash. Didn't get off that last slash needed for the kill, and he had a 3-for-1 exchange. They hold... Well, they try to hold off the Roshan. Actually, the Aegis does go the way of the Lycan in the end. But
yeah.
Still, if you're going to give up Aegis, you got a 3-for-1. Not too shabby.
That was...
Probably about even.
That was a weird fight, just because, like, Tide wasn't there, and it kind of worked in Direside's favor that Tide showed up so late, because Speed Gaming's like, okay, they're not... Like, they used their Blade Furies and stuff to... Like, they were fighting as if there was going to be a Ravage coming their way, but the Ravage came so late that it caught him by surprise, because ROTK getting stuck in the trees strangely worked to his advantage just because of the surprise factor later on. But there's still an Aegis. Speed Gaming can still look to 5-man. They've got BKBs on Lycan as well as Invoker, still at 9 seconds as well.
Considering the start, giving up the first Roche here at 30 minutes, not too bad, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. As far as
like, they lost the
be,
tier 1, tier 2 bottom and the tier 1, tier 2 mid. Probably by like the 22-minute mark.
It's not they've got an experience lead. That's just a 2,000 net worth lead. If they can hold Raxes, that's going to be the big test. And I feel like Speed Gaming are in a bit of a timer to take Rax in the next at least one lane in the next 5 minutes, and then they can play for late game after that. Try play that kind of farming efficiency game where you get map control, farm your opponent's jungle, farm your own, and get Lycan basically 5 or 6 slotted. Similar story with an Invoker, a Juggernaut. But I think they do want to try ideally get a one lane.
Rubik coming in hot, but right as he's about to hook, there's a familiar in the way. Oh, the Clockwork thought he had that Rubik dead to rights, but...
I don't know if Dire even know, because...
No, they smoked. They were not seen. They had this Observer Ward, but I think the familiars were kind of like... He's moving them towards that side of the map because he thought there might be a fight there, but he definitely didn't know exactly where they were. And, well, ends up just completely cock-blocking Mr. Cog-block. Sad days for him. Well, bottom lane. Here's Slark, forced to leap out.
Yep. Doug going to be getting an Ag Scepter momentarily.
I just casually stroll by mid with the camera, and Xiao is unloading his big cannon now. Ethereal Blade out, Manta out, 3.4k gold in the bank. Basically dead even with the Lycan and net worth, and if this goes late, you're up against the Slark Morphling with a farmed Visage and the double Ravage at some point, actually very soon. Speed Gaming are starting to really lose steam here as we get really deep into game number 1.
They have got this kind of 4-core lineup, but they haven't got anything that quite matches up to the Tide Refresher ulti as far as teamfight potential. But maybe the BKBs, if well used, and you get Invoker, a Scythe of Ice, you get Lycan, like a Heart of Tarask, Abyssal Blade. But these are kind of way down the track kind of items. But I guess when you're in this position, unless you start losing fight after fight and never get any more farm, and just that's where I feel if you don't want to overcommit to the push here. Even with an Aegis, make sure that you kind of get this nice mix of applying pressure with keeping up on farm, because Speed Gaming's lineup still can go late game.
For now, they do rotate towards mid. They have the Aegis, but Xiao Yui not joining the team. He's just off farming the jungle, and the split push is starting to ramp up here quite a bit. They can't really kill the Slark because he just BKBs, TPs out. Only way to cancel that is an Omni Slash, but there's no Shadow Blade or Blink Dagger on the jug, so he's got to kind of run at you to... They do have Poke Shot as well, but unlikely to catch the Slark when he's leaping through the trees and running around Invis. So they try to force their way mid, but while they're doing that, Xiao Yui's pushing top. The Slark continues to apply pressure bottom for Mikasa, and really feels like Speed Gaming are trying to brute force this way too hard.
Yeah, here we go. They want to make it happen right here. This push now.
This feels a little desperate.
About less than a minute left on the Aegis, but that's just enough for them.
There's a refresher for a Tidehunter pretty much if he wants it. He want a buyback, so it's a bit risky, but he's gonna buy it.
Throw your refreshers. You throw your ulti. Buyback on a Tide, probably not too important.
They did replicate him, but it's after he got the item, so don't really want to show the replicate either. Shotgun's there. Almost finishes off Piao, and that's a core hero.
Yep.
The Invoker getting pounded.
Speed have to be fast fingers with their BKBs. If they get hit by Ravages, they're in trouble.
Xiaowei was going in for an adaptive strike, can't quite get it. And now the attempted chase is on. Mikasa into the front line, so BKB, he will look to engage. The Wolves all kind of running around here. Mikasa doesn't have a whole lot of backup though. Now he does. RTK comes in, but the complete airball on the Ravage gets nothing done. Does end up killing off the Juggernaut, the team anyway. They steal the healing ward. Let's see, can they get much more done? They see Melody Lovers. What the hell, man? Let's Ravage this one too, RTK says. That's your double Ravage.
Okay.
2 kills. It's 2 supports for 2 Ravages, but not sure if Speed Gaming can really punish it.
They could go straight down mid, but Lycan's Aegis has expired, so they won't have that. And Lycan going for an Assault Crest. That was a bad choice. But now we're seeing the big gods find some steam here. They're going to start taking objectives themselves. This is really the big worry. Speed Gaming had that small window, I feel like maybe like a 5-minute window when they got that first Roshan and Aegis. They took some T2s. They really needed 1 lane of racks. They didn't have to win the game off of it. They just had to get 1 lane of racks to keep the pressure up, and they couldn't find a way to do it. Most of it coming from ROTK's really nice Ravages.
Yeah, if you're Speed Gaming, you have to feel like you're under pressure now. You know both Ravages are down. It's 100 seconds before either is up. They have to know it's at least like a minute and a half or so. But can they really do anything during that minute and a half? Top lane just barely past the river. Mid lane well into their territory. Bottom lane being pushed in. Roshan not even available for 2 minutes. So by the time it's up, even if it respawns as quickly as possible, the Ravages will both be online. Do they just go back down mid? I guess that's the plan.
Seems to be. Lycan holding onto that plate mail, getting whatever he can, and everyone going down mid. No Ravages makes this hold very difficult for the Dire side, I feel.
Yeah. Do they have buybacks? Morphling has one.
Yeah.
Slark does have one, so they're going to have 4 carry lives to throw at this push.
One of those 2 heroes just has to go in.
And a double damager. Uh-oh, they might get a quick pick here. They drop down an Observer Ward right as Xiaowei is on the high ground, but they can't get an instant silence off. He'll just retreat.
That's really valuable info, though, for Speed Gaming. If he got a pick off to start the fight off, I think Big God's hold, but now it gets a lot trickier.
He's going to try for it. Look how low he drops. The blade mail was popped right as he throws out the E-blade. Then he tries the BKB and retreat out, but ends up getting blown up by the Juggernaut Omni Slash. Nice quick kill here. No Ravages hold the line, but it's Familiars that do the dirty work. They bring Piao almost down. There you go, Piao indeed, as he will crash down to earth. It's Xiao Yui chasing deep. They did buy back. Xiaowei committing a buyback here to try and hold the base for now. Xiao Yui ultimate now down. No BKB either. Can't really do a whole lot. Your Clockwork Cogs come out. The Mystic Flare's there as well, but everyone just stands the ground, fights through it, pounded, and YFTX will finish him off. That last auto tech flying back towards the base. Not enough to finish him in time, but they end up losing 3. It cost them a Morphling buyback as well as a Slark buyback. Expensive hold, but they do hold.
Yeah, I think
only losing the tier 3.
For Big Goals, it was just about holding. I think for like it's a kind of evenish trade there, where Speed Gaming forced the 2 carry buybacks. They kind of win the fight in some sense, but for Big Gods, they just had to use those buybacks to buy time for the Ravages. And now they have Ravages, and we're going to see the game go the other way, where it's the Big Gods pushing Siege in the high ground with double Ravages. And at this point, Speed Gaming needed to use buybacks to try and hold this.
Yeah, I wonder if they back when they see these buybacks. Or do they just say, you know, we have double Ravage, you actually can't beat us anymore. It seems the latter.
Lycan doesn't have buyback as life
5 alive right now. They will finally have the whole complement of forces back until the first Ravage was used. Rubik now stealing the Lycan ultimate. He's going to morph and then zip forward. No lift for now. He's already used it. So gets silenced, but doesn't really do much when he's this fast. Another Ravage, another connection. He catches out 2. The third hero did manage to Blade Fury in time. YFTX retreating. He omnis into the entire Creep Blade. Actually gets great bounces onto Xiaowei considering just how many units were there. Not enough to get the kill just yet, though. Xiaowei will skirt away to freedom. Still no Rax claim. Lan, sticking around, though. And it looks like your Big Gods are going to claim the first lane of Rax.
Dark buys back, but no Omni Slash. I don't know how afraid you really
get
are.
His turn on this. Yeah, he's going to have to back out.
Should be able to secure at least the melee Rax. He may back off after that. Playing a bit.
Nice. He's going to smoke just to retreat from the Wolves. Okay. Nicely played. No heroes in range to break that smoke.
They're going to have to back off, it seems. Wait for the Ravages again. And I don't think Speed Gaming can get to... They could get to the die base before Ravages are back, but they're just not really in the best fighting shape. But no buy... last time it was only with the buybacks they held. So you go down mid, there's no Ravages and no carry buybacks. It's a very small window. You've got about maybe 30 to 50 seconds once you get there, but it's doable. This is a ping pong game. We see
it is. It's one of those games where like one team goes down mid, gets a couple kills, then the other team buys back, gets a couple return kills. They try to go down mid. The difference now is that Roche has respawned, so this could be an X factor if one team overextends on their Pong or their ping, and then there's no real counterplay for the Roche pit. Then the team can go down mid, probably just take a lane of Rex fully at that point.
Oh, Abyssal Blade, can he get it? It's going to lose the career. It's one of those points where you don't have buyback, you buy whatever big item you can. Slapping the Abyssal Blade could be a game changer as far as holding the high ground goes. Oh, it's a very early glyph too. That is
Sacred Relic now down, but Rubik will morph. They'll try to fight this one. Despite not having the Abyssal, they still have a pretty decent high ground defense here. Just from the Morphling auto attacks. He's going to BKB, engages onto your Clockwork. Not the ideal target though, as he retreats off to safety. That's a BKB down for the Morphling. The Little Wolf now retreating out. As the Hulk shot comes through, it'll catch out Mikasa Slark, but he goes invis. He starts turning this one. Another Adaptive Strike, and the kill again comes through. The bash is potentially there for Mikasa. Doesn't get one just yet. Looking for Dunchao Yui, who continues to just fight his way through the entirety of this squad. RRTK retreating out. The Tornado will find him. They chase him forward. Again, another nuke from the Scarf. Not enough to get the kill. He ends up surviving. Then the shotgun goes the other way. They've gotten 3. They make it 4. They still haven't lost a Rex. And the Lycan's forced to run away. And like I was saying, this time there's a Roshan to be claimed.
No one can get a Rex this game.
And that was without the Abyssal. That was without the double Ravage. They had none for that high ground defense.
I think
this is starting to fall apart.
Yeah, I think that lack of Rex taking will change quickly. Down the mid lane we go.
They're going to go down mid instead, yeah. Juggernaut, no buyback. Invoker, currently also unable to buy back. Your Clockwork, no buyback. Your Skywrath, no buyback. 15 seconds before they have 3. 20 seconds before they have 4. And 35 before they have the full 5-man squad. And that's now the double Ravage they have to fight against. Once again. That's a lane of Rex.
At this point you can run in. Oh, it gets initiated on.
2. Make it 3. RTK catches them all out. That's 4 down. They buy back instantly on the Lycan. Still, damage was done. But with double Ravage down, maybe you can at least get a kill or 2 here. Maybe it's too late. They're going to lose their racks at this rate in the bottom lane. To complement what they've already lost in the mid, they will manage to find a Tornado here. Nice play there by Piao. Catches out the Rubik, gets the kill. Still though, Lanham Ghost Scepter's RTK holds the line, and your BKB Invoker just kind of scurrying around in circles, unsure of what to do. Omni Slash disjointed as Xiaowei will manage to E-Blade, waveform out to safety, then turns and gets the kill. FTX now potentially trapped up by Mikasa. Will he get a bash? Summon the Bash Lord, my friend. He could leave. Don't mess this one up. There's your first hit bash. Gets the bash. And with that, gets the kill as well. They're feasting near the fountain. Speed Gaming will finally tap out. It looked like they held this game in the palm of their hand. A bunch of early towers, Roshan control, map control. But the big gods just a bit too persistent and just fighting well under pressure. They end up taking game 1.
Yeah, just solid understanding of how to hold the high ground, and that's one of those, I think, probably one of the hardest things and one of the biggest things that differentiates the Tier 2 and Tier 1 teams is knowing how to siege high ground, when you can actually siege high ground, and also just how to hold your high ground. Use your buybacks effectively, and like being able to defend your racks with no double not a single Ravage there, using the buybacks, and then the second hold with no Ravages and no buybacks. Just 2 great holds in a row coming out of the big gods.
Well, with that said, the big gods didn't look particularly polished considering the names on their lineup and just what they've shown us in the past, but well, they're just getting warmed up here. This is game 1 of a best of 3. Speed Gaming not out of it just yet. Loser will not be eliminated, but they will be forced down into the lower bracket of iLeague Season 2 LAN Finals play. Guys, thank you for joining us here on New Year's Day. Everyone is now officially into 2015, and we'll continue that 2015 Dota action after a quick break. You are watching Beyond the Summit. Stay tuned.